Let's go branding. Let's go branding.
Let's go branding.
Welcome to another episode of Let's Go Branding with your host, Steve Albert.
So we are here today with Centerpoint Insurance, and we have Ryan and Rachel, and they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves and a little bit about what Centerpoint Insurance is all about.
Welcome back to Paws and Policies. Today's guest is Tom, who's currently recovering from a rough day in the field. And I've got to say, the cast with your name written on it really completes the look.
In the arms of the angel.
Yeah, my humans thought labeling me like luggage would help. Apparently having another Brittany around, my brother Finn, wasn't enough to tell us apart. But hey, at least your humans had pet insurance to go with it. Thankfully, yes. Surgery, meds, follow-ups, mostly covered. Without it, that oops moment would have been a 4-figure disaster. And it's not just accidents. Depending on the plan, it can cover illnesses, hereditary conditions, even behavioral therapy. Plus preventative coverage, vaccines, checkups, dental, 24/7 vet hotlines, prescription discounts, all the perks. And it's not just for dogs. Cats get coverage too. Same benefits, same peace of mind. Care when you need it, the humans less stressed, everyone wins. That's the goal. Keep the dogs healthy, the humans calm, and the birds nervous. I'll be back out there soon, hopefully a little wiser, maybe a little slower. We'll hold you to that. Thanks for joining, Tom, and get better soon. That's it for Paws and Policies. Protect your dogs, protect your wallets. We'll see you next time.
So, Rachel, tell me quickly, how did you do that with using AI video? How did that all work?
Well, I mean, I've always been pretty savvy when it comes to, creating things like that, whether it be Canva, but that seems to be like industry standard now. So we kind of had to get creative. How do we stay ahead to make our marketing a little different? And I had, I pull a lot of ideas just from other things that I see on the internet. And obviously with the rise of AI, I'm like, I got to figure out how to use this tool. So, I mean, I've always been good with things like that, drones, photography, things like that. So I was like, well, I mean, how hard can this really be? So obviously Chat GPT has become part of, everyone's daily usage anymore. So I just really researched, different models because Chat GPT, I tried a few things like, hey, can you create I'm trying to describe Winston to them or I'm uploading a picture of Winston and it's not doing it right. I'm like, all right, I've got to find another model. So Google has, so many different models of AI ones, variations, and I was playing with all of them and trying to figure out which one worked the best. So eventually I landed on, Winston sitting, it was just an AI generated image of him, like he was hosting a podcast with
Okay.
microphone. I'm like, oh, okay. Then I got, detailed with it. I'm like, put a pheasant on the back wall. He's a bird dog. So, and then I added the neon sign. So it was kind of just, I had to create the picture and then I pulled a lot of the inspiration as the co-host with actually like dogs of ours, like Tom. And
Okay.
Tom is actually one of our friend's dogs. And he actually, he, with the cast, they sent the pictures and I'm like, I've got to use this. So, um, I utilize, Google VO and I have the script written up. You got to break it down. Into basically something that'll understand because essentially AI is still a robot. You have to be very, talk to it almost like a child so that it
Okay.
does what you want it to. And it takes a few trial and errors. Sometimes, it'll spit out exactly what I want it to, and it's like great. Other times it's throwing me random stuff and it's not even following the script and there's a squirrel flying across and I'm like, that's not even anyway. So just kind of piece it together and sometimes, it throws in random like gibberish. So I kind of just trim that out on CapCut and piece it
Okay.
all together. And then, once I like Finn, the other dog flying across, just wrecking the computer and all that. I'm like, I got that idea later on. I'm like, that'd be funny to, tag him in there. So I kind of just as I'm building it, and I like doing it. That's always been, my niche is, being able to let my creativity kind of work. So
Yeah. So everything in that video is AI generated. The background, the microphone, the voices, you just wrote the script basically, and then just played with it, hit and miss and back and forth until it come out looking like how you wanted it.
Yeah, and then all I do is if I make another episode, so like I'll have the just the image of like, it'd be Winston and Tom. And
Hmm.
what I'll do is if I have another dog I want to feature next, I'll be like, hey, replace the dog on the left with, and I'll describe it. If it's something like put my own dog in one of the episodes, she's a golden retriever. It was
Uh-huh.
easy for AI to generate that. But whenever you get some more, detailed breeds, they're a little harder. But yeah, I just have the tell AI and they sub out that dog and, kind of got to keep telling it to make the tweaks until it's something that I think looks good. And
Yeah.
then I go from there, write a new script
So
and
you've done 3 videos so far like that. Is that right?
four.
4.
Uh,
Okay. And people can go to the Centerpoint Facebook page. Just type in Centerpoint Insurance, and you'll find it. Or what's your Centerpoint website?
So the website is just centerpointins.com, but none of the social media stuff is on there. I do
Okay.
upload them on TikTok though, just because that's such a popular
Well,
platform.
that's
So
another thing I was going to ask you. Like, what platforms you use? So TikTok, Facebook. What else do you use?
Instagram is definitely the big one.
Okay.
Facebook, and then I just, as I post them there, those are our main ones that we use. And then I put them. I've started recently putting them on TikTok just for kind of a little bit of a wider reach.
And that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast, is because I wanted to point that out, that you're doing it right as far as your branding goes, and I want my listeners to get some tips and tricks from you, what you've done.
Just like many businesses, Center Point Insurance has been an evolution. So essentially, it all kind of started, I don't know, 12 years, 15 years ago, when my wife started selling insurance. And we were doing just life insurance only,
Okay.
which evolved to other lines of insurance down the road, specifically Aflac benefits. And we kind of hit this point where uh, we were becoming very trusted with our clients, and they kept asking us if we handled specific P&C lines. So P&C being property casualty, so home, auto, commercial, um, things along that nature. Pet insurance also being one of them.
Mhm.
So we always kind of had this kind of crazy concept of, maybe someday we open up our own insurance agency and house everything under it.
Okay, so it sounds like you really saw the need to kind of streamline what you were doing and really focus in on what became Center Point, right?
Absolutely.
That was around 2019, you said 2020, somewhere in there.
Yeah, 2020.
And I
Um,
think that's when I first met you, right about that time, when you were thinking about it and you
yeah,
had some ideas in your head. Yeah.
yeah, you're correct on that. So we thought, okay, we'll still focus on our major lines that we always did, life insurance, voluntary benefits, things like that. And as things trickle into us, whether it be a family or a friend, wanting a home and auto quote, obviously we'll handle that. And it would just kind of be Kelly and I, and we would just kind of handle it all in house.
Yeah, you guys have grown exponentially the last few years, and it's pretty impressive to see what you guys have done with your company, and especially with your branding. And I kind of helped develop your original logo, and like we were talking before, it went through several different variations that you used on lots of different things over the years. And so I'm going to pull your logo up so people can see what it is.
Yeah. Um, so it just it kind of like you said, it grew very exponentially, and within reason. I don't want to say too quick. There's days where you feel like you're running around with your hair on fire, but
Mhm.
there's strategic steps to the growth model that we've taken. So it still is very nice because it again it cleaned up what we had, and it made everything much more streamlined. But then as well, we have these additional offerings of our home, our auto, our commercial. We house our personal health care in this that we're offering to our clients.
The way you guys are growing, you must be doing something right. And so tell us about the dog in your logo. I know a little bit about what you do, what your hobbies are, but how does that connect with your insurance company, the setter, your setter point dogs?
So we have an English setter. His name is Winston.
Uh-huh.
He's now 13. He's been a very integral part of our lives.
Okay.
How we grow, what we do, our lifestyle, as far as bird dogs, the bird dog community, what we contribute our time, volunteer towards, and again, just our lifestyle in general. So we always kind of thought, maybe incorporating a dog into it. And then I'm sitting there doing some research, and I come across this almost nostalgia feel. For us, it was, we don't necessarily want our names on anything. The people that work with us, we really emphasize them taking their own um, ownership in the company.
Right.
What they do means something to us and how they represent themselves. So by putting our names on it, I felt took something away from everybody that works with us as well. So almost two fronts. Bring back a warm, friendly nostalgia, vintage feel, as well as not putting a focus on any one specific person within the company.
Right. So it's not your last name insurance company. It's Center Point Insurance, and the family friendly idea with the dogs and all that idea is incorporated into it because that's all part of your personality as the business owner. That's what you're into. That's what you like, and anything outdoors related. And so you wanted to incorporate that into your whole branding policy. I guess you could say it that way, for Center Point. And part of it was this logo design. And like I said, I've printed all kinds of stuff with this logo on for you, shirts and banners and hats and all kinds of stuff over the years. And it's kind of evolved, making minor changes here and there depending on what it gets printed on, business cards, all that kind of stuff. I remember when we first started using this logo here, Ryan, we used to call this one the big dog logo. And then we had another similar version we called the little dog logo, and it had just a small dog as part of it. But this logo here is the one that you've settled on, and it's on virtually everything, your signage outside and all that. And people now recognize this as Center Point Insurance just by seeing the dog. We even painted the dog on the back of your building up there in DuBois, Pennsylvania. Yeah, we forgot to even mention where you guys are located. You're out of DuBois, PA. And I think, Rachel, aren't you in Texas right now?
I am. I'm kind of a snowbird, if you will. I'll be back. I come back for Christmas though, but
Okay,
yeah,
you'll be
kind of
back
go
for
back and forth.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I that just dawned on me. Ryan had told me that you're in living in Texas right now. So yeah, that logo, it took a little bit to develop, but once you decided on this is what you're using, then it goes on everything. And the branding part of it is, that logo is basically who you are, Ryan and Kelly. And so, that's your whole lifestyle, and you've incorporated that into your logo itself. So that's what I try to do for my clients here at BioGraphics is, help them build a brand that they can, use on everything and really build a good customer base and of loyal fan base. And is there
So
anything
so
else you want to
I,
add there, Ryan?
yeah, actually, I kind of want to jump into how we came up with that logo.
Okay.
I I told you specifically, hey, this is company name, this is the feel, the vibe, the tone of
Mhm.
what we're going for. We need something to match that. And I had pulled reference from a few places, and it wasn't necessarily specifically a setter, but I'd pulled reference from what was it, Steve? Probably three or four different
Yeah.
locations.
I think I remember Orvis. Was Orvis
Or
one of them?
or yep,
They're an outdoor. What do they make? I don't even know. They they make
Fly
fishing gear, I
fishing.
think, right?
fly fishing
Okay.
to upland bird hunting gear,
Okay.
with very much that nostalgia feel.
Yeah.
Uh,
So the outdoor colors, browns and
yeah,
tans and greens, and that outdoor look. So that's what you were going for when you first approached me. Yeah.
yeah, and
Exciting.
Filson and a couple others that had been around since, again,
Mhm.
the 30s, 40s, 50s, and pull in that vintage, warm, comfortable feeling.
Right.
And it was some very productive, interesting back and forth of, hey, let's try to morph this, a couple, three, four ideas, see what we come up with. And Steve hit me with, here's this option, this option, this option, and I said I like this one. Let's see if we can make a few tweaks to this one though. And back to your point, we actually came up with two logos.
Right.
And I really liked two of them, and I said, hey, you know what? Let's keep that little dog logo that had more of the Center Point character,
Um,
and let's use that as a formal letterhead.
right.
Uh, and let's do the big dog is our fun
Yeah.
T-shirt type
Yeah,
of logo.
that's on your t-shirt stuff, your giveaway stuff, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And when we first started working together, you actually stopped into my shop, my old original shop,
Mhm.
and we just met out of the blue, and you started talking about this idea that you had. You hadn't even started Stetter Point at that point, I don't think yet, or you were in the process of it.
Yeah.
And we went back and forth for it seems like several weeks, maybe a couple of months till we really settled on the look that you wanted. And you come into my shop several times. We emailed back and forth and text message back and forth until we got it the way you wanted it. And I'm glad it's worked out as long as it has for you, and you've used it so well in all of your branding. I see it well, I see it all the time, but it's because I've been such a part of it from the origins of it. Like, it just kind of jumps out at me,
Yeah.
like all the stuff that I designed. It's like, oh, I did that. I did that. I did that. So, but yeah, I really like your logo, and I like the way that you use it in your total branding.
We kind of embraced a very nostalgia, old time saying that setters do it better, and that
Right.
that being the back of our shirt. So
That's a
kind of,
good point. Your slogans, your whole look, it all matches, and that's like I said, you're doing a good job at it. And even your logo on your shirts and stuff, we experimented with doing two colors. We experimented doing reverse images and stuff like that, and solids and outlines, and just to get it to where you wanted it. And so yeah, I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff. It's fun, and I just appreciate being able to go back and forth with ideas. And I threw a bunch of ideas out at you, and you were honest enough with most of them. Said, "Nah, I don't like that one. That's not what I was going for. Let's try this. Let's try that." And it was fun. It's a fun process, and I really enjoy doing that sort of thing.
yeah. And again, having that person on the other end that is willing to work with you means a lot. With the whole, we'll call it the BioGraphics experience, it's nice because again, I can walk in the shop, I can say, hey, I got this idea. How can we refine it a little bit and make it look right for the application?
Right. And I remember lots of times you would bring me ideas, and I would be kind of, I don't know if that's going to work. We'll try it. I don't know if it'll work or not. And we try it, and it looks great. Or, once we visualize it and see it, it's like, that's not quite what we're going for. So, again, it's just fun to go back and forth, and just both of us, creative minds working. It makes it real enjoyable. So, well, thank you guys for being here. Maybe we'll do another follow-up interview in the future, but if anyone has any insurance needs, definitely check out Center Point Insurance, based out of DuBois, Pennsylvania. And you can find them online everywhere. And check out those AI videos. They're really awesome. And they match all the branding that you've been building for years, with the hunting dogs, the bird dogs. And it's just the next most logical progression in your branding package. So, but thanks again for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
See you
Thank you.
guys.
See ya.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get branding at getingearmarketing.com.